Support for the Lancast is provided by Winding Way Books, Ryan Hess, and Pennsylvania College of Art and Design.
Welcome to the Lancast. I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Becky Svensson. Our guest this week is Aimee Ketchum, the creative mind behind the early childhood developmental instruction media, Amy's Babies.
Amy shares with us a little bit about her background in pediatric occupational therapy.
The developing brain is very fascinating to me. What children are learning from the world around them and how their brain is being molded and taking in information from the world, and all the sensory stuff and the processing is actually not that far removed from, working with patients in a neurological setting where their brain is being rehabilitated from some sort of injury. So it's very interesting.
She also tells us about how she went from producing a VHS edition in her own home to creating a fully produced instructional DVD and app collection.
Then what happened was I had to change the name. The original name of my DVD was Ivy League Baby, which my brother actually thought up, and I just thought that was just so cute. And his wife designed a really adorable little baby wearing a graduation cap, sort of in laying in an Ivy League. So it just was like the perfect logo, and that's how I was selling my DVD, as Ivy League Baby. And then what happened is the Council for Ivy League Presidents tried to sue me because even though I did have a trademark attorney and I thought I did everything right, the Ivy League schools in that time came out with a line of clothing for babies and called it Ivy League Baby. So then I had to change my name.
Enjoy the conversation. Well, Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the thought pattern behind creating Amy's Babies?
Amy's Babies started out of something pretty small. I was working with babies in a neonatal intensive care unit, and a lot of the babies just were still very sick when they were going home, and the parents still looked like deers in headlights when they were taking their babies home. So basically it started with me just making actually a VHS video of some exercises that parents can do with their babies to help them to develop and reach the milestones that I was giving to parents to take home as therapy. Ended up showing it to a couple of my friends who were also occupational therapists or physical therapists, and a friend of mine gave it to somebody she knew who was in publishing, and that person called me and wanted to publish my DVD. Publish it actually into, a DVD and add a little more to it. So I sort of added some more information to it, and then it was published, and it went from there. And now I'm in my second edition.
Were you always involved in therapy involving babies, or was there other things that you did as well? Babies and children primarily has been my focus, but my first job was in a rehab hospital where I did a lot of worked with a lot of neurology patients doing brain injury rehab and stroke rehab. So that's what really started my interest in neurology and how the brain works, which really carries over to babies and children because the developing brain is very fascinating to me. What children are learning from the world around them and how their brain is being molded and taking in information from the world, and all the sensory stuff and the processing is actually not that far removed from, working with patients in a neurological setting where their brain is being rehabilitated from some sort of injury. So it's very interesting to me that there's a lot of similarities there.
Amy, can you give us some examples of the exercises that you show parents, and what kind of things does that really help the baby learn to do?
The majority of my DVD is baby massage. So I teach step-by-step baby massage instruction for parents to do massage on their babies, which has countless benefits. All the strokes are done head to toe, so it traces the development of the neurological system. So in doing that, you're helping the baby to develop motor skills, gross motor, fine motor skills, balance,
sort of body awareness, things like that. Also, the actual massage is great for bonding with the baby. It's that skin-on-skin contact that's so important. Helps to relax the baby. It calms the baby and the parent who's giving the massage. It also helps to improve the baby's immunity. It helps them have more deeper, restful sleep. And there's a lot of strokes we do to the stomach and abdomen. So it's really great for just helping the baby move their bowels. If they're gassy or colicky, it's great for that. So that's a big part of the DVD is the massage. And then we also do some baby stretches, which just helps keep them limber so that their bodies develop symmetrically. Stretches like, like little bicycle exercises with their legs, or touching the right hand to the left foot and vice versa. And those sorts of things are really good because the way their brain is developing, the left side of our brain controls the right side of our body and vice versa. So that really needs to form and develop in babies over the first year. So anything parents can do where they're bringing both sides of the baby's body together at midline, like clapping hands or feet together, touching opposite hands and feet together, are really great for developing that brain, bringing the two sides of their body together. So there's a lot of exercises and activities that I do on my DVD that encourage that, bringing the body to midline, things like that. There's a segment about vision. It's kind of broken down into different senses, and in the vision segment, I talk a lot about what babies are able to do as far as vision when they're first born. They only have 2600 vision when they're born, so talks about how their vision develops over the first year and things parents can do to help with the vision skills, like tracking exercises with getting the eyes to converge, things like that.
Are there different massage techniques depending on the sex of the baby? Because I know the brain develops a little bit differently.
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, the technique is exactly the same for boys or girls. Brain does develop a little bit differently as far as boys tend to have a little quicker developing spatial skills and higher developed spatial skills. Girls tend to be more aware of details. Their brains tend to be a little more detail oriented, even in the first year of life. But as far as the actual massage strokes, that's all the same.
How does your techniques stand out from what maybe other people are doing?
There are a couple other baby massage DVDs on the market, but those DVDs don't include the other therapeutic activities that my DVD does. My DVD really encompasses all of the sensory processing and ways that babies are learning information throughout the first year, as far as vision, hearing, taste and smell, movement, balance. There's other DVDs out there that are primarily baby massage, and since that's one of my sort of selling strategies about my DVD is that being that I am a pediatric occupational therapist, I think my DVD is a little bit more all-inclusive of things, exercises and tips and things that parents can do and be aware of to help their baby reach all the developmental milestones. The most important thing to me is educating new parents, because a lot of times, when you come home with a baby, you're worried about learning how to change diapers and how to feed the baby, and there's this whole developmental component that's missing that a lot of parents just aren't aware of exactly what to expect as far as all of the developmental milestones. And you get a little bit of information from the pediatrician, and when you look in parenting magazines and whatnot, it'll tell you at 4 months baby should be rolling over, at 6 months baby should be sitting up. But as far as specifically, is it normal that my baby is crawling at this age, or not standing yet, but my neighbor's baby is already standing, or so there's a lot of things as far as development that parents I don't think are always aware of. And my goal is to get all that information out there so that parents know exactly what to look for in their developing children, so that if there is an issue that arises, parents are aware of it right away. With the incidence of all of the autism spectrum disorders on the rise right now, I think it's more important than ever for parents to be aware of what is typical development versus atypical development, because the best strategy and intervention for autism or any developmental delay is early intervention. So I think a lot of children might not get identified as early as they could be or should be because parents aren't aware of that they're not aware of the fact that their development might be a little bit off track, especially if it's their first child. But I've found even, I had a woman called me a couple months ago after watching my DVD, realized that her baby was not developing typically. And that was her third child. And her older two boys were typically developing children, but you forget. You kind of forget. And it wasn't until she saw the DVD and I happened to say, this baby I'm working with is 4 months old, and she looked at her baby who was 4 months old and says, oh my goodness, my baby is not doing what that baby's doing. So it was sort of a wake-up call to her that she needed to get her, take her baby to the pediatrician and say, there's something not right here. So my primary goal is to educate parents just so they can be vigilant and know that, either their child is on track, or if there is an issue there, know what they can do to help their child sort of get back on track or facilitate them in ways that is going to give them the best start possible.
Amy, I'm not a mother, but I have a lot of friends who are, and if I've noticed anything, it's that there are many things to be afraid of and worry about if you're a mom and you have a little baby, and it's easy to get stressed out. Sure. So as new moms and dads try to wade through all the books and the blogs and the warnings and Surgeon General's, whatever, what are one or two things that they can either avoid or just do on a regular basis that can really give them the most bang for their buck as far as helping their child develop healthily?
Well, just developmental-wise, not talking about the health or the safety or, baby-proofing the house or anything like that. Just talking developmental-wise. What I always tell parents is just to be aware, not to be overly worried about these development charts that you get at the doctor's office or that you see in the parenting magazines, but to have an awareness. And early childhood development is very highly variable. One child may roll over at 3.5 months, whereas another child, it might be 5 months till they roll over because of their body structure, their size, how often they're put on the floor. So I always tell people just to make sure that their baby is making milestones every month, that they're seeing small changes in their baby every month, even if it's, something very minute, and that the baby does not regress at all. If a parent would say, well, they were sitting up last month, but now they're not able to sit up anymore, they've lost their muscle tone or whatever, then that's a red flag. So they shouldn't go backwards, of course. And the other thing is they should not skip milestones. It used to sort of be assumed that, if the baby went right to walking and never crawled, that was a good thing. But I'm always trying to tell parents that that's not a good thing, that it's really important that babies go through every milestone in the order that they should go through them, and they should not skip milestones because each milestone sort of builds on the previous one. So there's a lot of benefits to each thing. So, and that's actually a really common thing, especially now that a lot of babies are not put on their bellies as often. They're losing that tummy time because of the whole back to sleep initiative, which is important, for the prevention of SIDS. But it's kind of gone a little bit too far, and a lot of babies don't ever experience being on their belly or have very limited time on their tummy. So they're not crawling, they're going straight to walking. And I'm always telling parents to take them and put them back down on the floor in the middle of the room on their knees and hands so they can experience crawling, because it's a developmental milestone that things later down the road will build on that.
I know this is backtracking a little bit, but all this talk about children and developing and stuff, I have to wonder, what piqued your interest in pediatric occupational therapy? Was it after you had your children or before?
I was always interested in working with children, but after I had my own children, it was definitely more of an interest to me. I actually got certified in baby massage after I had my daughter, and she was very colicky and screamed all the time. And I found that the massage really did help. So I had learned baby massage in OT school and found that really helped to calm her. And then after that, I was getting phone calls from friends and friends of friends going, what was that you did to help your baby calm down? Because, and I could hear the screaming baby in the background. And that's when I went and got certified, because I want to make sure if I'm telling other people how to do it, that I'm telling them exactly the right way. And I found, wow, this is really something that can make a difference in people's lives and really help them to, again, give their baby the best start possible, and also help to calm their baby. And so that's sort of, I guess, having my own children really, made it much more fun for me to work in pediatrics. But I was already working in the school system when I had my daughter.
True or false, you thought that your kids were advanced?
Oh, totally true. And it's funny because we joke about that, because I think every occupational therapist, physical therapist working in the school system that then has their own children, we always say that our kids are gifted, because we're used to working with children that have delays. So when you have your own child come along and they, are able to do these things at such a young age, we always think our children are gifted, but that doesn't everybody.
You're a mom.
Yes, I am.
All right, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we're going to have more with Amy. Hey, everybody. We're here at Penn Cinema to find out what everyone's been talking about. Excuse me, why do you choose Penn Cinema?
I like the seats. They're really comfy. They're a lot nicer than most other places. Even my house.
Oh, this place is great. I mean, it's popcorn. Got some, we got a slushy machine over there. We got 3 clocks. 3 clocks for the Lidditz, the Lancaster, and the effort of time, just in case, you don't know what time it is in your area. That's why I love this place. They think about everybody, very friendly.
Has a nicer environment.
It's clean and comfortable. It feels independent. It doesn't feel like part of a system. Like, it feels like, as big as it is and as polished as it is, that it feels independent,
Bigger screen, better quality.
So it's really close. It's very clean. We come here all the time.
What do you like about Penn Cinema?
The seats are my favorite thing. Very comfortable. On the rump.
3D IMAX, the whole shebang.
It has a down-home feel, and we love the atmosphere that Penn has created. He really tries to take into account what people want in a theater.
It's really clean, and the seats are really comfy.
Yeah, I like the seats. It's the best movie theater to come to.
Well, you've heard what they have to say. Now come see for yourself. Check out Penn Cinema for first-class movies in a first-rate theater. Located at 541 Airport Road in Lidditz, PA.
And we're back at Aimee Ketchum. Amy, can you tell us a little bit more about the process for producing that first VHS? Maybe in your own home? Who were the babies?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
Very basic. I used my own babies. And I made it myself. I edited it on my own computer in my house. And it was pretty quick and dirty. It was very basic. It's very basic. Soon after that, though, I refilmed in high def. And, again, I did edit it myself. And then that was my legitimate first edition that was published. And then what happened was I had to change the name. The original name of my DVD was Ivy League Baby, which my brother actually thought up, and I just thought that was just so cute. And his wife designed a really adorable little baby wearing a graduation cap, sort of in laying in an Ivy League. So it just was like the perfect logo, and that's how I was selling my DVD, as Ivy League Baby. And then what happened is the Council for Ivy League Presidents tried to sue me because even though I did have a trademark attorney and I thought I did everything right, the Ivy League schools in that time came out with a line of clothing for babies and called it Ivy League Baby. So then I had to change my name. So long story short, I had to basically destroy tons and tons of inventory of DVDs and actually donated a lot of them, but changed the name. So I decided just to make it my name, because then nobody else would own it. That's how we changed it to Amy's Babies. And since I had Ivy League all over the DVD and even said it in the DVD, I had to redo them all. So my second edition I had professionally done, and that's the edition that's currently selling. And now I have 2 additional DVDs in production right now. One is called Amy's Babies Milestones, and it's just that. It's for all the milestones that babies go through the first year, and it shows what to expect from a typically developing newborn, 3-month-old, 6-month-old, 9-month-old, and 12-month-old, and then also gives tips and exercises to do for those children if the skills are still emerging and if they don't have them mastered yet. And then my next DVD that's also in production right now is Amy's Toddlers, which obviously looks at basically 12 through 36 months and what you can do for your toddler to help sort of harness all of that energy and put it into sort of a more of a purposeful way so that they are developing their oral motor skills for language, their gross motor skills for being able to run and kick a ball and catch a large ball, and their fine motor skills for some preschool readiness, school readiness, so they can hold a crayon and color in the lines and hold a scissors and cut out a shape and things like that. So again, it's all developmental based, and it's a lot of time in studios with lots of babies and children, which is always fun.
Where do you get the children? I'm assuming you don't just take them off the street or something.
I'd like to. Sometimes, I tell you. I have a lot of friends with children. I have 2 beautiful nieces and a nephew, all in the perfect age. Now that my girls are getting a little older and I can't use them anymore in my DVDs. Fortunately, my brother and sister keep having babies, so that's very helpful. And I always have friends that are having babies, and they know I'm going to say, "Hey, I need a film of a baby, playing with blocks. Can I come over?" So my DVDs, the ones I'm working on now, they're pretty informal because I would like them to show what you can do with your child in your home. So, we're not filming in the therapy gyms or anything like that. I'm filming things that parents could do at home with their children. So we're using laundry baskets and beach balls and things that parents have around the house so that they can do those activities, with their children after they watch my DVD.
Now, I'm going to divulge into my humorous side here.
All right.
Have you thought about doing a Amy's Babies 360 month edition? What's expect developmentally wise that way? And maybe put that on YouTube and just kind of get that out there.
The 360 month. Yeah, that could be interesting. So I would use my husband as a model, or
yeah, just make it funny.
Yeah, that's a great
idea. This is where they are right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, they put it on YouTube and kind of a backhand advertisement for the real thing.
Why not? I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll have to consider that.
Back to legitimate talk.
You have some DVDs. Are there any other ways that you're getting this information out to parents?
Yeah, I write a couple articles. I do online articles, and I write a monthly article for Fine Living magazine, actually every other month when the magazine comes out. I also have some apps for the iPhone, iPad, and iTouch. I have 2 baby massage apps and a baby stretch app. It's a stretch and strengthening app for babies, and I have a baby vision app for iPhone and iPad. That my apps also have video instruction, and they give video instruction on how to do the massage or stretches or exercises for visual acuity and visual motor skills for babies.
What's the development process to making an app for something like this?
I basically write the app and sort of do some of the designing, and then I have I have a guy who is a computer programmer that takes what I have made and designed and actually turns it into an app. So he does all of the Xcoding to make it an app, and then we submit it to Apple, and then Apple takes about a week or two to approve it, and then they put it for sale on iTunes, or I'm sorry, in the App Store. Yeah.
Very cool.
So it sounds like you started out influencing your friends who had really needed your help, people who were just calling you, and then you were at Lancaster Regional, so you had influence on families in Lancaster. But now you have these DVDs, websites, apps. Can you talk a little bit about how your influence has spread across the country and if you've been featured anywhere?
Yeah, the coolest thing to me, I think, about having the apps out there is that they're downloaded all over the world. So I love looking at where my apps are downloaded every day. I don't get a lot. I get maybe between 5 and 15 downloads every day. But the cool thing is they're downloaded in Zimbabwe and China and, India and these far off places that I just love imagining, these moms, downloading my app. And then I get emails from all over the world because my app links directly to my website, to my Facebook page, to my email. So I get these really cool emails from people that live in countries where therapy is not readily available. And I'm constantly hearing that they have a child with special needs or they have a premature baby or whatever the case may be, and they're on a waiting list for therapy that is over a year long. So these very resourceful parents are getting on their devices and phones and whatnot and finding ways that they can help their own children. So I just had an email recently from a dad in Australia whose baby was born with a heart defect and was asking me for more exercises that he could do for his baby because she was 3 months and still not able to hold her head up yet. So, I just love that. I love to sit at the computer and give people suggestions and advice and ideas of things they can do to help their babies develop from the beginning.
What are some of the ways that you're promoting Amy's Babies?
Well, I'm trying to just get it out there in as many places as I can. I'm constantly trying to find celebrities and influential people out there that have babies. So I'll send them my DVD and hope that they, will tweet about it or blog about it or somehow endorse my DVD. And I actually sent it to, I saw that there's a style consultant named Greta Moynihan that goes on the Rachel Ray show. So I sent my DVD to her, and her assistant emailed me and said that she really enjoyed it and was using it and also downloaded my app. So I wrote her back and said, is there any chance she would be willing to show it to the Rachel Ray show producers? And she wrote me back and said, oh, we already did. And a couple days later, I received a call from the Rachel Ray show, and they wanted to feature my DVD on the show. So that was really exciting. And the way they did that was they had a segment of, they called it the top 5 must-haves for baby's first year. And it was Greta Moynihan on the show talking about the things that she thought were great, things that were out there that were great inventions for new moms and babies. And they had my DVD as one of those things. And they talked about my app too, so I was excited about that. So,
a bit more on the fun side, we know this isn't the first time you've dabbled into television in your life. We have a little bit of knowledge here that you were on the Oprah show.
Oh yes, although I was not actually on the Oprah show. I was in the audience. I was in the audience of the Oprah show. That's right.
And this was something you've been trying for quite some time.
That's true. I'm a little obsessed with Oprah. Only my family and closest friends know that, although
not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, probably since I've been in college, I'd say I've been trying to get tickets to go to her show, and it just sort of became this quest for me because it's so impossible to get tickets. I literally tried for 15 years, and when I never could get a ticket to be in the audience, I noticed on her website she had, that you could write in to possibly be a guest on the show. So I thought, so I started trying to do that years and years ago since I couldn't get in the audience. And eventually, basically all my letters and persistence paid off because they were taking people on the show that they were calling ultimate viewers, people that were wrote a lot of letters over the years and really, said that Oprah made a difference in their life, which I said in several of my letters. So, so that definitely helped.
So what was the topic of the Oprah show that you did get to attend?
Well, I didn't know the topic until I got there. I was sent an email from one of the Oprah show producers that said, you and your husband are invited to be in the audience for a show that we're filming, but it was very vague. It didn't say what the topic was, but we didn't care. We flew out there to Chicago and we're in the audience. And as it turned out, it was Oprah's favorite things show where she gives away all of her favorite things for the year that she does every Christmas.
What were some of the highlights? Because I know this is a big thing for Oprah.
Yeah, it's huge. And this was her last one. So they really, built this up and she did 2 shows back to back. She did a show on Friday and a show on Monday. We were on the first one, the show on Friday. The big grand prize at the end was a cruise. So we won a cruise, which was incredible. We actually went this summer. We took my parents and our children, and none of us had ever been on a cruise or to any Caribbean island or anything like that. So it was really incredible to get to, go do something like that, all of us together. So that was definitely the big grand finale of the show. She also gave away an incredible Nikon camera. And we were very fortunate that we were on the show right before Christmas, and it just so happened to be a year that also right before Christmas, my daughter and my husband both had to have surgery, so I had very little Christmas shopping time. So Oprah gave me half the gifts I could give to my family for Christmas gifts. So my whole family made out for sure. My brother got a camera and my sister got the Tory Burch shoes, and so my mom got the panini maker. So yeah, she gave a lot of great prizes that my whole family benefited from. So that was really fun.
Were there any products that were like, really, Oprah? This is kind of lame. Why is this one of your favorite things?
That's funny. Well, I didn't think so. But some people were saying the one thing she did give away was a book that Jay-Z wrote about how he got to be a rapper and about his lyrics and everything. And I heard some jokes after that on David Letterman and stuff about how, the audience left and the only thing left was all the Jay-Z books on all the chairs and so, yeah. But I actually, she's a big fan of Jay-Z, and I thought that was kind of cool that she, gave his book that big jump start. So personally, I don't think so. I thought they were all incredible, but I guess it depends who you ask.
She doesn't watch the Lancast, so
so I could say,
especially since it's something you listen to.
You never know.
Oh, I said, well, take it out.
Or yeah, you go take it out.
And of course, we can't finish an Oprah conversation with a fan like yourself without asking how you're surviving without Oprah.
Well, I do watch the OWN network a lot, I must admit. And fortunately, she just came back doing her own show again, the Life Class, Oprah's Life Class. So I do watch that. I'll admit it. But yeah, I do miss watching her show.
Amy, are there any other projects or dreams that you have for Amy's Babies?
Yeah, I mean, my main goal for Amy's Babies is really to educate as many new parents as possible. So, actually, my husband and I were just in LA a couple weeks ago meeting with the company that does my distribution, brainstorming on how we can get Amy's Babies out there more. And he suggested doing an Amy's Babies talk show, which that discussion led to a meeting with with a producer for a company that does a lot of shows for like TLC and the OWN network, speaking of Oprah. And so they asked that I write up a proposal. So I wrote up a proposal for an Amy's Babies talk show that they're now looking at. I've been in contact back and forth with one of the producers. So I have my fingers crossed that something like that would pan out, because that would be just a dream to be able to have that forum to talk about all the things that I think are so important about baby development, to a wider audience like that. But again, we're in very, very early stages. I don't know if that would ever happen, but it would be really cool if it did.
Very cool. Well, if anybody wants to find out more about you or your Amy's Babies DVDs, where can they go to find that information?
They can go to my website. It's www.Amy's, spelled AIMEE, Aimy'sBabies.com, or my Facebook page, Amy's Babies Facebook page.
Well, Amy, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We hope you've been enjoying the Lancast.
This episode was produced by myself, David Moulton, with show notes by Lauren Slesser.
All pertinent links to this episode can be found in the show notes at thelancast.com.
If you specifically liked this episode, we ask that you consider making a donation.
Every little bit helps. Even $1 a show can keep us going.
If you would like to help support us in that way, you can visit thelancast.com/donate.
And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and tell a friend about the show.
So, for the Lancast, I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Becky Svensson.
Asking, are you in the cast?